It was very efficient in that I could charge one battery and swap them back and forth, but I didn't see like just being able to plug it in and have it run for this long. Also, this is a tri-fiber coil. The big difference there, you have in the Bedini circuit, you have the
Hello, we are live. I still don't know where Cambell is, so Cambell, hopefully you are doing okay. Today, right now you have Daniel Nunez speaking in the background. That's one video. The link is in the description. What is being played is Vinny St. Vincent's video. Those are also in the description. And I will be showing the moon crystals that I made here momentarily. But we will let... I don't know where Cambell is. Cambell, where are you? Hopefully you are okay, brother. Where I don't know. He's still moving probably, right? He's probably just getting settled. Needs some time off. That's my guess. Hopefully. But yes, most important part, links are in the description of this video. There are many of them. Also, there are a couple of links of me, Cambell, and Michelle Gibson's former discussions that are really good because, we always play the Michelle Gibson video that's so awesome with Cambell. So why don't we just give that a little refresher? Because, well, they're all awesome souls, and hopefully they are all doing well right now.
Yeah, so this is straight DC input.
So I'm going to mute myself off for a second and let talk with Daniel Nunez
the circuitry
here.
Is creating a type of pulse width modulation.
Full setup.
And the
links are in the description.
Byproduct is the radiant spike. So this is it's a reddish type of glow to it. What are the materials? That's copper, just 3 different colors of copper. So the color is just for winding purposes. It makes it easier for us to wind it and identify. So yeah, still cool, completely cool to the touch. I'm not getting any temperature on that. You know what? Let me just crack out this guy. Let's see what we get here. Got a very little bit. Yeah, just slightly above the floor temperature. It's really cool. Yeah. Neon bulbs will typically burn a little warm. All right, for anybody that's just joining, we've got a 12-volt input feeding the PoE vortex coil 432 motor. It's a motor that doubles as a power converter. Surplus power is collapsing into the neon bulb there, and then whatever's left over after the neon collapse is draining into a charged battery that's linked in series with the run battery. So we've been looking at the same thing for yeah, it's probably, for me, it's going on almost 5 hours, but I joined just 34 minutes ago. I started this live, and everybody's been watching this not do anything. Not do anything, but do a lot at the same time. So that's functional fan. That doesn't seem to affect the light in any way. The light is not flickering in person. That's the camera picking that up. It's a neon bulb. And so in essence, we're aiming for the surplus power to keep on recirculating, and hopefully we don't see a drop in that number at all. And if we do see a drop in that number, then it was just a really, really efficient motor demonstration. Fun stuff nonetheless, and some hope. Would be nice to have a different type of power generation system. Something that was truly clean and sustainable. It might take a little bit more work. You're changing the infrastructure, and you're changing some things about the way technologies are constructed. But byproduct is maybe some gained efficiencies. And maybe a safer electricity. So this doesn't want to electrocute me. For whatever reason, the radiant energy does not. Now, if I put a capacitor across that, I cap it so I can be able to meter it, then it becomes volatile. You can shock yourself. Here we are at 37 minutes. And still 23.9 volts. Again, that is the voltage across both batteries. Run batteries on the right, charge batteries on the left. There's a mutual junction in the middle. Surplus charge goes here, drains into that one, and keeps the cycle going. Well, granted, the neon bulbs don't consume a ton of power, but to get a fan to run basically, for hours at a time without drawing any electricity it's a pretty big deal. So I would imagine that right there, just one coil configuration could serve as a ductwork, some kind of solar powered ductwork, or dual battery ductwork that continues to create ventilation. I'm sure a lot of people could come up with some fun ideas for what you could use that for. Well, I am touching it before I do the heat test, which is not a good idea. I'm probably adding just a little bit of heat to it right before I touch it. But it is pretty much just the same temperature as the surface. Oh, about to push 40 minutes. Probably close it at 40 minutes. I think it's a pretty thorough observation that we've made so far. Yes, this is consuming, it is consuming amperage. There is amperage going into there. However, the amperage seems to be circulating right back in because this battery is being drained with the surplus charge energy. Again, that is there. The neon is in the circuit because the collapsing spike from the modulation that's occurring in the self-oscillation is what it's called. The self-oscillation is creating a spike that's about 60 volts using a 12-volt input. So even though those coils in its configuration, right, in that for the self-oscillation, it is a 1-to-1 configuration with a pickup coil wired in. So because of that, you have that pickup coil there that's creating a 60-volt spike. I can't charge a 60-volt spike straight into 24 volts. So what I have to do is put the neon in place. The surplus power goes then into the positive lead. over here on a charged battery. It then drains into the run battery, and then the cycle repeats itself. So, in essence, we should see that this stays the same, which is what we've been looking at for over 42 minutes now. It is staying the same. If it were over 100% efficient, I would imagine that would be charging. So if this is 100% efficient, that would stay the same. If it's a little less than 100% efficient, we might see that drops a day, 2 days from now. But I've never seen this before. I've never seen a steady voltage for this period of time using there is a circulation there. There's work being done. And there is a little bit of extra light as the byproduct. So there should be a number dropping on the right there, and there's not even a millivolt is changing. I've tried this with a lot of different designs, and this is the first time that I see this. So Nikola Tesla was talking about 3, 6, and 9. The power of 3, 6, and 9, if we only knew. If we only knew. Well, I don't know, maybe we're learning. Maybe it can create a new standard. Maybe people see it and they say, you know what? All of them should be like that. All of the coils should be like that. Then the machinery and the infrastructure comes about to make it a reality. All right, well, once again, 12 volts on the input goes into the circuit. The oscillation occurs. The back EMF spike is collapsed into the neon bulb, surplus power back into a charged battery linked to the run battery, mutual ground. Pretty simple, but it took some years, no? Had to get the right coil design.
Live.
Have to go through the right circuitry. This was originally a dual transistor circuit, and I did not see this same functionality. I stripped away one of the transistors and tried using the third conductor for a pickup, and here we have success.
Hello, good sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello to everyone.
Yeah, this was kind of spur of the moment.
Yes, it was. And to answer what those crystals are, I am quite fascinated. I don't really know. I think there's zinc oxide, but they formed at a full moon when it froze in one of my monoatomic solutions that was gold, silver, mostly zinc, and some copper, and it turned into these giant crystals that I have pictures of, and then there's still some of them outside in this other where they originally formed. But it's like they've been out for hours and they're slowly like oxidizing away into monoatomic dust back into the original.
Yeah, it's kind of good you're talking about this because I kind of been researching a couple of things in the last couple of days. Here's a plug if you guys want to check some stuff out on Laser Saber's YouTube channel. He was basically back engineering what's his name? Stubblefield's Earth battery or Earth oscillator. So I've been reading up on that, and there's some really fascinating
telluric
stuff.
Currents as well. The telluric currents through the ley line.
Yeah. So the two metals that seem to be a real key factor in building these devices is zinc and magnesium. They seem to have a real interesting effect when it comes to absorbing the Earth's energy. So, look up Stubblefield's. He made probably the first telephone. He was before Alexander Graham Bell. And he was also developing this device that was getting energy from the air even before Tesla. So, you might want to look up Stubblefield. He was around 1800. So we're talking about 150 years ago. So, I've been doing a lot of reading on him, his history, and he has a lot of similarities to Tesla. He died a poor man. And it seems to be a trend with these geniuses that come up with these incredible devices. And he was another victim to the global elite and suppression of his technology. So even Tesla was at his house. Actually, he was a farmer. Stubblefield was a farmer.
Hey, Mike, if you turn your phone sideways 90 degrees, it'll be a panoramic view. There you go. Rock on. Good to see you guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Good day, good sir, Bane Bear.
Do you want to hear some? Doing good. I do. My son and I sometimes do like helium-related experiments, like balloons and stuff. We just send them up for fun.
Yep.
And our next thing is to send a phone up with a string at like 500 to 1,000 feet and just have it rotate and just see our city.
I've seen somebody do that. What did they use?
Yeah.
Did they use a cell phone? Yeah, they used a cheap old cell phone. And I think they attached 4 or 5 of these helium balloons and just let the sucker go up.
well, let me tell you something real fast. If you use, it's going to sound gross, use condoms. Condoms use because here's the thing: the weight of one condom is way less than 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 balloons.
Oh, probably.
But a condom you can fill up and holds the equivalent of like 4 to 5 balloons.
Yeah, it's a super material. Definitely, like for just proof of concept, building, engineering. Yeah, collecting.
On my channel, my son and I have a playlist called #ballooning, and sometimes like I'll find like on job sites little toys and stuff that have little lights like this, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I can't.
Yeah.
Little tiny lights that are just run on a little tiny disc battery.
Yeah.
But they're really, really light. They're only like a quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce.
Yeah.
But these little lights, you tape it on, and I have cheap phones. Like my phones, I'm an analog man in a digital world. See, the two of you are on laptops. I have.
No, I'm
I
actually on the cell phone.
Yeah. I mean, I have cheap to where it's like even right now. Here's the thing. One second. Even right now, like I don't know if you can see it. See, I'm on one of those little tripod things.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah. And I'm just making coffee just this morning. But anyways, later this afternoon, maybe tonight, my son and I are going to be doing a balloon experiment, and we don't know. We're thinking about doing the string thing with a cell phone and sending up with a cell phone and a light. So the light is for safety reasons, FAA regulations. It has to be able to be seen. You've got to have some kind of light on it. You can't just send up a balloon with a bunch of strings on it and be like, I hope I'm 5 miles from an airport, 5 miles from an international airport.
Yeah, I'll make the 5 o'clock news the next day. It'll be a UFO report.
Oh, if I make the news, I want it to be something good and positive that I put into the world. I don't want it to be like he terrorized thousands.
Yeah, that's what happened to John Hutchison back years ago. He was doing that with hydrogen balloons, and he was making with tinfoil, right? So every time he sent up one of the balloons, the local airport radar reflects and hits it and thinks it's a UFO.
Oh yeah,
So,
but it's easy to do. Did you guys hear about did you guys hear about Biden being rushed to the hospital this morning?
oh no.
Yeah. He couldn't stop Putin.
That's good.
That's my one dad pun of the day. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
Anyways, I do love watching you guys. Like the electrical thing, I don't know if you saw my channel last week, I just got a tester. And Mike, the last time you were on with BurnEye here, I think it was a few days ago, I was listening while I was working on some stuff. And the one thing that resonated with me was you had said a mathematical formula. I wrote it down in my shop. I wrote it down on the wooden table. It was something like, don't tell me. It was amperage times voltage equals watts.
Yeah, volts. Volts divided by. Sorry.
I thought it was
early in the morning.
Amp times voltage equals watts was what I thought it was. But I've been looking into that, and I'm not all the way there yet. I just got my first electrical tester. Like I went to hardware and paid $30 for a good electrical battery tester and stuff.
So for example, 12 volts at 1 amp is 12 watts.
Gotcha.
Volts times amps equals watts. So 12 volts, 1 amp is 12 watts.
Well, I had a buddy that used to be in stereo that used to try to he used to install car stereos, and he was always trying to tell me something about the amperage of output of sound. Like, you remember last time, I think it was 2 months ago in the beginning of January, you and BurnEye and I had this exact discussion about like the dung beetle or the bee with the resonance vibration. Okay. The guy who used to install stereos told me that the biggest problem a lot of people have, where when they have a car that pulls up next to you and it goes brum, 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 and it sounds like literally they're about to rattle the panels off their car, if their bass and treble aren't but if their bass and treble aren't set up right, he said this is why, because it's based on DC power. In a car it's based on DC power, whereas making something at a house, hooking it up to your stereo system at your house is based on AC power. He had some kind of formula. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something to do with the megahertz. Not so much the whole 440 versus 432, which is a thing. Yeah. Okay.
That's where you get your electronic. See, I used to do car audio years ago as well, and we had electronic crossovers. So that would control the amount of hertz going into, say, like a subwoofer.
That's
you would keep your hertz.
Science of Sound series coming up right away.
Yeah, I did a lot of that when I was in my early 20s, so I'm pretty up to date on that stuff. So, say like a subwoofer, a 10-inch or a 12-inch subwoofer, you'd be setting your frequency at about 80 to 50 in that range, maybe a little bit lower, say around the 50 range.
Gotcha.
So if it gets too high, you can actually do damage to the speaker. So
exactly.
It depends on the diameter of the speaker.
And he was saying something about it's amperage versus megahertz of what your output was, because a lot of people would have too much output and not a strong enough amp, and they'd burn out the electrical system in their car. All these different things. Listen, I've been buying subwoofers. Occasionally you'll come across like a really good subwoofer at Goodwill for $10. And most people, you get home, you plug it in and it doesn't work, and they give up. They're like, oh man, I just wasted $10 at Goodwill. And then they throw it away. It's like, hey, dummy, maybe cut the cord off closer to the amp and just replace the cord and the plug. 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you've got yourself a subwoofer.
Yeah.
But I'm working on, I want to work on something that creates, I'm starting with a subwoofer that, if I can contain it and keep it loud enough, where I put a flying device on top of it to find the resonance vibration to get a origami tinfoil bird to fly. Start with something really light like that, right?
Yeah. See, with people make a lot of mistakes too. They'll use home audio speakers in a car. You can't do that because the ohms resistance of the subwoofer is built for an AC power source, where versus the car audio speakers, they have a different frequency band that they work on 8 ohms resistance. So you got to be careful with that. A car audio 8 ohms, home audio stuff 4 ohms or less.
Yeah.
So
well, it's also like if you've ever watched like Interstellar with a surround sound system, and yeah, I don't believe a lot of NASA and the space lies. I know any of those movies are just a 2-hour infomercial for NASA. But if you watch one of any movie that has great sound effects, soundtrack, all that stuff, I want to be relaxing at home with a good speaker system. I don't need that kind of sound in the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm listening to a live stream. I don't need to hear somebody above my talking volume.
I don't know. I'm a kind of old school. I kind of like the nostalgia of the radio sound. You know what I mean? Like the AM. I'm a big fan of AM band for some reason.
A little bit of static in the background. Just a little bit of the white noise.
Yeah, it's the nostalgia.
It's kind of like respecting. Like I respect a musical person who can make a song nowadays in 2022, and in the beginning it has that record scratching quality in the beginning. Not to sound cliche, but just like the song "Stand" by Eminem back in
Yeah, it's more organic sounding.
Has that record that flow of as if there was a needle in the groove.
Right.
But there's not. It's digitally produced. But your brain falls for the trick.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to hear something funny psychologically? I figured out, or that we were talking about earlier this week, is you know what wordsmithing is, right?
Sorry, say that again.
Wordsmithing. When you have well-weaved words. Yes, spellcast, spelling, cursive writing, matters, that kind of stuff, right? Think about this.
With your words and the conscious manifestation of what you're saying and writing.
But think about this. Think about how how sometimes you can get. When I was a kid, I got sayings confused. Like when someone the common saying, someone would say thank you, and the other person goes, "Oh, don't mention it." I always got that confused with regret. So someone would say thanks, I'd be like, "Don't regret it," and then I had to get corrected, right? Owen Benjamin brought up a good point this week where he said, think about the two differences in this, all right? Ready? Let's say, have a nice day versus enjoy the next 24 hours. See, the second one seems like a severely veiled threat. You're like, wait, what? But you're saying the same thing in two different ways. I think it's funny because current, just like electrical current, water,
right,
money, electricity, and words. There's a currency.
Yeah,
there's a currency to it.
It's a flow away from you.
Well, right? there's dimensions, because think about time. You pay attention. You spent time.
Yeah.
You earn a paycheck. Your ashes get put in an urn. You get paid weekly. You don't get paid very strong. You get paid very weekly. The wordsmithing stuff is as fascinating to me as.
I think in one of the links in the descriptions, talk of synchronicity with Michelle Gibson and Cambell and I that I have in the video below. We actually go into that. Michelle and Cambell talk about that in depth in one of their videos.
Gotcha.
This is Vinny St. Vincent currently video playing, where he's got a couple of cone-shaped Tesla coils, and he combines them with a pancake coil at the bottom, and that is an extremely strong field. But he was
Bernie, I'm gonna mute my mic while you explain this real quick. I'm gonna step outside, but this is fascinating.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Good, sir. And everybody, make sure you check out their channel. Him and his son do a lot of good science, and it's all about putting the ideas together. And especially Vinny St. Vincent here. This is a Tesla coil build, but it's also going to show in a minute in his lab. He's got the Edlead Scallon flywheel as a build on that. That is probably the best I've ever seen of anybody do.
Yeah, there's so many things you can get into in this stuff. It's unreal. Me, I like the research end of it, finding out what people are doing and looking into Stubblefield and finding out some of the stuff he was doing that was even pre-Tesla is kind of fascinating to me. And then found out that actually Tesla went to his farm to actually see this stuff. So I think Stubblefield was a big influence on Tesla, in the late 1890s when he started doing his wireless.
As was Walter Russell too, I believe.
Yeah, there was like a group of 20 of them that showed up at Stubblefield's farm. Yeah, he in this later part of his life, kind of a sad story. His wife left him. He became a total recluse, and he died a poor man and basically living in a shell inside his cabin. Kind of a similar scenario that Tesla did. Died a poor man, secluded, had no friends. Very lonely last few years of his life. And so kind of a sad story, but these geniuses seem to have the same fate.
Well, can I give a little insight on that, Mike?
Sure.
Hey, it's I find that everybody processes information differently, and I found, like, with some of these geniuses and idiot savants and all that stuff, that there's a difference between being knowledgeable and being intelligent. Being knowledgeable means you're smart enough to intake information. Being intelligent means you're wise enough to integrate it and to apply it to your life. And Owen Benjamin constantly harps on this, where it's not about the amount of money you have, it's not about the amount of status you have, and it's not about the amount of intelligence you have. It's based on personal morality, like personal accountability. And there's some of these people that are geniuses that get so wrapped into their own God complex, that you can literally lose your mind. But if you take the time to be like, I was designed beautifully by something or creator, God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, that I can't understand or explain, and there's a lot here that's fascinating to understand and explore without delving into letting negative things influence you. Like, it's my day. It's my day off. I still got up before the sun. Did I really, really want to? Not all the way, but at the same time, I'm happier now that I know that I did, as opposed to sleeping in till 11 a.m. and being like, well, I've wasted half the day or whatever. You can't. But we press this a lot in the bear community, and I believe it to be true that freedom comes from responsibility. It's like, you really want freedom, have responsibility. You want the joy of walking in your own grass barefoot, and mow your own grass. Don't hire someone else to do it. And if you do have someone else do it, they're called children. Want to build my own workforce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A buddy of mine just had his 6th kid, and he's like, don't stop me. I'm on a roll. I'm building my own framing crew.
Yeah. You know what? I think with these geniuses like Tesla and Stubblefield, I think their problem was they weren't able to balance out their passion with the family life. And you kind of lose tune with reality because they're so engrossed in their work. And I think more so for Tesla was like that. He got so involved in himself that you know, everything around him was just, you know, like a shadow to him, right?
Well,
And
true. I agree with that. But at the same time, think about this. How about the fact that sometimes your influence or where you're at in life, sometimes they have a huge appeal to what their status is in an academia way, as opposed to
yeah,
what their value is in a community
mhm,
way. If your value is in a community, like I don't care about scientific accolades. I will never, ever, 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 ever acquire the piece of toilet paper known as a scientific degree because my son and I did some balloon experiments and built some Lego sets. I will never,
mm,
ever, I will never get applauded by a room full of guys in white lab coats to be like, this is the guy that's going to send up the next Satelloon. You know, I'm not going to ever be that guy. I don't need those accolades. What I do
yeah.
need is I need my son to be fascinated by it. I need my son to be like, I'm interested in
Educated,
it
having a
because
good
my
time learning, right?
yeah.
Well,
Well,
will it?
listen, my son is more. I'm really proud of my son. My son is way more engineer minded than I am. He is very, very black and white. Like as a kid, you could walk up to my son and be like, "How's it going, sport?" And he'd be like, "I'm not sport. My name is Seth." Like very black and white. So I think, I mean, he's always been into motors and gears and stuff. So I think the engineering thing is he takes courses for it in school.
Yeah,
You know,
I think personally, you're kind of it's ingrained in your DNA. It really is.
yeah, we're
Because
built to be curious. We're meant to be curious.
yep,
Yes.
Show your son this. So this is the amino acids being formed up top in this nano-coated coil with silver and zinc, and it's solution with a little bit of gold. Literally, this identical tub only also had gold as anode at one point going in. I had this outside, froze it, and an entire layer of these crystals formed on it. And then now they're literally evaporating into absolute nothing.
I just got to step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. Mike stepping away for a minute. He said he'll be right back. But if he doesn't come back, y'all, we'll know he's full of crap. He's whack.
Right? This right now is Vinny St. Vincent channel, the best athlete scalene build ever, and like connects so many different Tesla coils and other electromagnetic teachings, as well as Ed's magnetic current into his work. He levitates all sorts of stone and stuff. It's crazy. He's awesome. Check out his channel. I also need a smoke. Everybody else, savages triggering me. Do 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 do. Once again, this is your own amino acids, aka DNA, aka plasma resonant, like molecular cell. Oh dear. Let's see. Vinny should be talking.
The corona in me today. Bang. What about it? Breaker 19. All right. Coming together. Got one PMH. The other PMH. Both got grounds. Got the oscillator. We're also working on the figure 8 configuration. We're going to have, like Ed does in Coral Castle, he has a bottle with iron wire.
Yes, Lab Envy is definitely a thing. Oh, also
And
the
with
mist
iron
vapor,
wire,
HHO gas,
I'm
the
gonna be able
mist,
to,
yeah, 100%.
increase the
The ionized
magnetism
mist, the mist, you're banging on that is what needs to be
versus
used in
pop.
the fuel. Yep,
So
that's what you're talking
I'm
about.
going to build a flange
For
on top of
combustion.
this, and we're going to have 2 bottles side by side. The centers of these bottles will be connected together, and these will become a scalar wave, as well as the 2 bottles that'll be over here. Simultaneously, starting from the process of when the wheel turns by, it creates electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is being banged at each other on the 2 PMHs, and they will create a scalar wave on both of those Morpheus coils that we're going to build. And then we're going to use these as antennae. You're saying to yourself, holy
Just ingenious. Like, wow,
what are you
Vinny.
thinking?
Amazing.
These are going to be 2 bifilar.
And his name is Roy.
You heard
Roy.
me loud
Our
and
fellow
clear.
YouTuber
Bifilar.
Roy.
Bifilar. And set these up where the outside ends are connected together, and in between them will be your coral rock, and the proof will be in the pudding. Bifilar. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little test little experiment. I enjoyed, because nothing better than smelling some beautiful ozone. Plus, on top of that, having 400,000 volts banging my fingers simultaneously at a good frequency of probably about AM band, about 900 kilohertz, 1,000 kilohertz, in that ball range. Anyway, leave your comments.
I'm back.
Love it, love it, love it. And this is still pre. I'm going to teach you guys, one, how to make the bifilar coils using simple cardboard. Okay. And
Hello, Mr. Mike. You are back, being your presence.
Had to go back for a smoke.
I know. Is it my turn now? Do I get to have a cigarette?
Yeah, go ahead if you want. We're here.
I appreciate it.
Oh, I got some good news. Oh, I finally got some good news. I got a job interview on Monday.
That is great news. Good to
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, another aerospace company. And here's the kicker: it's 5 minutes away from my other work.
Well, going to work for the competition. Hopefully, it works out for you, good sir. Maybe you get a couple shifts a week at each place. All the better.
Well, yeah, they put me on 6-month layoff, right? So,
harsh.
And I'm losing about $1,000, $1,200 a month, even though that I've got the government. Yeah, exactly. Like money is like tight, like just barely making it.
Hey, listen, Mike, if you're going to be wasting that much money, at least 100 of it can be going to me and 20 of it can be going to Bernie. Okay. I mean, that's just 10%. If you listen, if you're going to burn through 1,200 a month, I'm asking for a humble 10%, 20 for Bernie and 100 for me. Cause my grocery bill, listen, I'm a single dad. My grocery bill could be cheaper too.
Yeah,
that's why we have to learn how to use this plasma technology into, growing our own gardens and reducing our energy bills. And
well, see, my dream is eventually I'm going to buy myself a small piece of property north of where I live here, and I want to build one of those shipping container homes.
Dude, let me help.
Totally off the grid. Totally off the grid.
You took the words right out of my mouth, but I don't want to go north. I just want to go like 10 miles east of where I'm at now. I'm in South Carolina. In the winter, North Carolina gets blanketed in snow. Georgia gets flooded with rain. South Carolina, we're just right.
Like I live in southern Ontario, so where I live, it's the warmest part of Canada. So, if I go like an hour north of where I live, it doesn't really make too much difference. Like either way, we're going to get snow, so that's inevitable.
Hey, if you don't have sensitive feelings, I do have a funny trucker story about yesterday I'd like to share with you.
Sure.
But also, check this out, Mike. You might get a kick out of this. You know those little handheld fans that ladies use, like you can get them like at the dollar store, and just stuff like that. All right. They have bigger models that are like medium sized, right? Like softball sized. Okay, get ready for this. Found a couple dumpster diving, right? The batteries then ended up being useless. Took two of them, right? Okay, it's these little handheld fans. They look like magnifying glasses, basically.
Yeah.
But they're fans on a stick, basically.
Yeah.
And the battery system would be in the stick, and it would charge from the bottom.
Right.
And I took them apart. Are you ready for this? I took two of these handheld fans. Watch this now. I took the middle screw that held them and put them together, and then put their positive and negative wires aside.
Yeah.
But so that when we do the phone thing, I want more resistance. So if I have a helium balloon holding the phone, I want this with a small battery source going and just giving it extra lift so I could hold it with strings and have it just consistently stay up. Because so but the thing is, it's lightweight. I don't have a capacitor or lithium or any kind of supercharged system where I need a battery this size to fit on top of this. Because this is why. Hold on. I just had it. Because I can't put a helium balloon with this.
No,
this
exactly.
This is a pound and a half in my hand. This is 3 ounces of plastic. Okay, but this right here, I could drop this from a 2-story window and kill a man with this.
Yeah,
I don't want this on a balloon. But if this were on a balloon, something like this size that could actually support like Iron Man tech, where I could have a battery this power, like the whole arc reactor that Iron Man had. I could have this amount of battery power on this. I would build an army of freaking drones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, this is only a 2-fan system. My son and I were going to put a front and back system on it so that we could we're going to put a remote control system on it so that we could control it from up there if there's too much wind one way or the other, and then turn it. So we can get a consistent like camera view all the way around.
Like kind of like your own blimp.
Yes, exactly. Without having the danger of being inside a blimp within 5 miles of an international airport where I could literally go to jail for international crimes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I looked at like some of the FAA regulations are stringent, very stringent.
Oh yeah.
Like ridiculously stringent.
Oh yeah, it's a huge federal offense here to fly drone anywhere near an airport here.
No, it's not only drones. Someone advised me, they're like, you might want to take that other video down. And I said, why? And they said, you sent up 2 large balloons with a flashing light. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, you did it at 2 a.m. near an airport. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you might want to take that down. And then like the next day it had like 100 views. I was like, I should take it down just for the fun of it. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm towing a fine line between I'm curious, but I don't want to be dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like learning to, I find that electricity is fascinating as it is confusing. It's a lot like being 8 years old and learning to ride a wheelie on a bike. You're still mastering the balance of the bike along with the literal motion of the potential and kinetic energy, what the grade of the hill is versus how fast you're going versus what the angle of the ramp is. Am I doing this to show off for a girl? Am I going too far and then you're going to get hurt? First time you learn to ride with one wheel, you're still figuring out the physics of it.
Yeah.
With the electromagnetic pulse of the resonance vibration stuff we talk about, like with sound and with electricity, I am still like toddler level. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I have fun. I paid $35 for a helium tank at Walmart. Anybody can do that. I bought condoms. We bought Magnum condoms because they hold the most amount of helium with the least amount of weight of material. So you could send balloons up and hope they go farther. Sometimes we send balloons up with little messages and then see if they ever turn up.
Yeah, it's being innovative, and you teach that to your son. Like, me and our family, we're big time campers, right?
Yeah.
So I'm teaching my daughter survival skills. She's going to be 10 years old in April. And so now this year, hopefully I'll be able to teach her how to put up a tent and set it up and, survival skills, because my parents never taught me any of this stuff.
Well, you're also even though you're on Ontario, you're still basically close to the Arctic Circle. So, survival so you don't freeze skills, those might be necessary at some point, young lady.
Yeah, exactly. And the way this world has been going in the last couple of months with the wars going on and, the viruses and everything, you got to be somewhat prepared. I'm starting to get a little bit of a stockpile of canned food just in case something happens, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, my youngest is 13, and I mean, think about it. He'll be like legal adult age in 5 years, and I mean, think about the things he'll be putting up with.
Yeah. Putin up with.
I couldn't listen.
It's okay.
Sometimes there are dad puns that you just can't resist.
Yeah.
Burley, the dad puns, they are calling you.
A lot of people like to start making a lot of jokes when times are bad, and that's understandable because you have to almost try to step back from a bad situation, try and make perspective, and try to humorize people around you to keep the morale going. You know what I mean? Or lack of morale.
Listen, levity.
Listen,
levity is a magical healing element. You could say whatever you want about burning calories or its hormones, and you can measure it through endorphins and this, that, and the other. Love is not quantifiable. Like we love people that have died. There's no social utility in it. You can't measure it. You can't. It's like, do you love your daughter? Yeah, prove it. It's like, well, what? Did you love your grandfather? Yeah, prove it. Wait, what? I mean, you can't quantify some of these things.
Yeah.
And the way they try to categorize everything is to get you to forget about your connection to God. And I think that's what ties into a lot of this. There's a lot of stuff they don't want us to know.
Well, they want us to be disconnected with everything,
Yeah.
Throw out all these distractions and, watching the Kardashians every Tuesday night.
But that's my point. That's my point is that levity, listen, that's why I crack jokes a lot. I try to be humorous at any given point that I can, because levity is that vibration in your brain that allows you to go all of a sudden out of nowhere. And the thing about it is that I was listening to Jim Brewer yesterday. Jim Brewer I'm a huge fan of Jim Brewer for like 30 years now. He's a comedian that did obviously Saturday Night Live. He was in Half Baked. He was in a lot of different things. Yeah. But he was giving Owen Benjamin props and stuff. But his sometimes when he does the Bruniverse thing, he lives over on the West Coast, so it'll be 3 a.m. here, and he'll be doing it at midnight. But so obviously when I got that alert at like 9 p.m., it's like, hey, he's going live at 3 a.m. your time. I'm like, I'll catch the replay tomorrow. So yesterday while I'm at work, I have earbuds in. We're doing sanding work, so we have a lot of like loud equipment at work. I have earbuds in. I'm listening to the Jim Bruniverse, and he's going after this YouTuber who was this YouTuber was criticizing him, saying he had a wacky video, and the other YouTuber is an atheist who believes in the science and let's get our jabs and this, that, all that stuff. And so, anyways, Jim Brewer was like, I'm a big believer that comedy does heal a lot of stuff. And it really does. There is something to be said about part of the learning process, even in your brain, doesn't function without laughter. Okay. Like my grandmother lost one of her breasts right before she died of cancer. She had one of her breasts taken off a mastectomy, and she ordered Chinese with my mom while she was in the hospital. She got tired of hospital food. She says to my mom, while she's in chemo, she goes, you know what my name would be if I was Chinese? One Hung Lo. Okay, that's my grandmother going through cancer. on her
Yeah.
deathbed, still cracking jokes, and her and my mom sharing a special moment based on what? Based on a humor, based on a joke where they shared a mom-daughter connection. And my mom and her mom were born on the same day. Like they share the same birthday.
Wow.
You know, which was, so my mom had like one of those cosmic connections to her mom because it's the same day in September. They had the same birthday.
Yeah.
You know,
Cool.
so it's like, I think it's funny that Jim Brewer brought it up yesterday. The whole humor really is a healer. And there's a lot of different things right now that they want you to be fearful of, and they don't want you to laugh. Like, I remember my dad, when he was in real estate, they were having a meeting in their conference room, and this guy came in. He was real angry. He just wham, just slams his hand down the table. And the guy who owned the real estate firm looks at him and goes, "You angry?" And then everybody just cracked up laughing, and it broke it up. But if he had mirrored that anger, it could have really escalated quickly. Listen, humor can cause a woman to slow down her contractions until she gets to the hospital if you make a woman laugh while she's having contractions. Humor can break up a bar brawl between two drunk guys. Okay. Humor can get a girl to let me take her home. Okay. And put a baby in her. Humor can heal and cure things. And the people that don't believe it to be true are the most boring people on the planet that never, ever smile. They tell you to smile a lot, so when you get older, your wrinkles are in the right spot. You know what I mean? I had a lot of coffee. I'm on the second cup today, so I'm sorry, Mike.
I'm drinking I'm on my first still.
I'm promoting the Mud Mob with the Mud Mob cup too.
Yeah.
So
see, I save my Tim Hortons cups, but I make my coffee at home, so I put my homemade coffee in my Tim Hortons cup. Saves money, right?
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, right? What are we looking at? What are we looking at here, Bernie?
So this is the same reaction that was the monoatomic gold, silver, copper, and zinc, that then this bottom layer in the moon formed into these crystals, and it is a full crystal layer, and you can see the plasma field magnetic interaction with camera. But there's all the crystal shards down there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you could probably make a nice earth battery with those crystals.
So I believe there's zinc oxide crystals.
That's perfect. You can make an awesome battery with those. You can make an earth battery with that.
Right? But
time out. Backtrack. Remember, I'm in elementary school. Mike, I'm going to need you to give me a basic 30-second overall definition of what an earth battery is versus a regular lead acid battery.
Kind of like a Hutchinson battery, right?
Well, you're using natural elements that are in the earth, like zinc and nickel and all these elements, and they're in their purest form when they're in the earth, and they're getting charged. We have a huge amount of electricity going through the earth at all times, and this electrical energy is stored in certain elements. So you got zinc and you got magnesium. And if you get iron mixed in there, you're going to have electricity. If you put in a certain arrangement, you're going to get electrical current.
And it was electricity that originally created these monoatomic elements and crystallization when there was the full moon and it froze. But I've taken them inside and they don't melt, but they oxidize out. It's these.
Yeah, you'll get oxidation. You'll get a little bit of corrosion as soon as you introduce magnesium to the situation, but that's okay. It's creating natural electrolytic. So if you put it in, say, like a tube, like John Hutchinson was doing,
definitely for over a week in this state, between freezing and thawing, freezing.
So the Stubblefield was on to something great with his basically it was a coil energy gatherer. It would soak up the Earth's energy into his device, and he was doing the very first versions of the telephone. pre-Tesla, pre Alexander Graham Bell. He was doing this stuff in the early 1800s on a farm. This guy was a farmer. He had no formal education in this stuff. He just started experimenting and came across this amazing thing of electricity inside the earth. So it's like taking a plug and just plugging it right into the earth. Now, how cool is that?
I've heard about that.
Yeah. Stubblefield is somebody you should really look into and study, because then you're going to look at the earth a totally different way after. It's very fascinating. I was reading for like 2.5 hours last night, just all stuff I could find on Stubblefield and his life, and the experiments and the patents he did, and it's fascinating stuff.
Very nice, Mike.
Hey, I'm in a Telegram chat right now, and there's 1,386 members. It's a speakeasy saloon with the Bears. So I am listening to this. This is fascinating, but I'm also posting for us. I'm putting also I'm live on Didactic channel on YouTube right now. We're discussing electrical theory, that kind of thing. So I am paying 100% attention, but I am promoting you too. I'm going to be putting a link in for Crypto Alchemist.
Very cool.
And for Autodidactic here in a minute.
Yeah, as soon as the spring comes up, I think I'm going to do some Stubblefield experiments. Get out into nature and start getting some electricity from nature. And I think that's where people have got to get back into tune with nature. I think that's where we kind of really got lost tuned with in the last 100 years, is working with nature. Because even Tesla says, if you can harness and use the wheelworks of nature, you've got free energy, and it's going to be there in abundance, and it's infinite.
Yeah,
infinite energy,
and it's renewable just through the environment and the ecosystem we live in.
It's infinite. There was there.
Listen, Mike, I know you might even know who I'm talking about. There's a scientist that actually there was a video posted on YouTube. I want to say in 2020, it could have been early 2021. I don't know how popular it got, but it's this guy who had taken one of those glass, those giant glass jars you put a bunch of change in, the ones that are like huge, the ones that you almost hurt your back lifting. He had filled it with soil, like a 1/3 full of soil, and threw in several seeds and a few earthworms and corked it in 1973. It is like formulated its own ecosystem of everything in there. It produces its own air and all that. It's full of greenery and stuff, but he left it in the sun. But I thought that was an amazing, like, micro demonstration of the firmament, or where the realm that we live in the center. It's an ecosystem that's been closed since 1973, producing its own air and water, and has its own living entities inside of it. I thought that was awesome. Fascinating. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No, I haven't seen that, but that sounds really cool.
I wish I knew where to look for that video, because normally I have on my other channel, I have a video called Science Stuff, where, like, if I see something I like that, I'll be like, ooh, save the science stuff. I have a playlist that's like 150 videos of just including some of these streams, where it's just like I need to rewatch that because I need to learn that stuff. But it is. I wish I'd add that one to the list, because I can't for the life of me find that one now.
Yeah, honestly, the way I see the way energy is and the way we're going right now, if we want to make it into the next millennium, we have to start looking at nature again. We have to start learning from nature, because all the answers are right in front of our nose. We just have to open up our mind.
I think a lot of it has to do with, like, even gardening. Like, I'm the first to admit, I did not get off my ass in 2021 the way I should have. I'm still on the compost level. My compost is amazing, but I am not on the growing my own food, Owen Benjamin style level yet. And I think that the whole connection that he talks about is, like, even like, go out and do if you don't have a dog or dog poo out there, like, if it's warm enough, go out and walk in your yard for an hour barefoot. It takes, listen, you don't think about it, but you're like, oh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. Force yourself to spend an hour, like, out there with your feet in the grass.
Absolutely. Barefoot. Get grounded in that mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Let me tell you what else works
Gotta
is
be
if you have
grounded in nature.
if you have a brand new gas station or car wash, they always have brand new sod and stuff, like brand new grass. There's no chance of roots or hard stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they lay that sod, as soon as it's got root, like within a month, I'll go out there with my kids and they'll be like, "Why are you taking your shoes off?" I'll be like, "I'm gonna walk around here for about 10 minutes and get my charge back up." And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "You don't understand, but I'm 43. When I've had a hard day, sometimes I don't tell you kids this, but on the way home, I'll stop by a green patch of grass and take my shoes off and walk for 5 minutes, just for 5 minutes. There's something, listen, I can't explain it. I can't see it. I can't measure it. The electromagnetism, there is something there to earthing.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
right.
what it is. I don't want to get
you're-
naked and like lay down on the ground and stuff, but
No,
5 minutes a day.
Yeah, you're grounding yourself to the earth frequency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when dealing with monoatomics, like it's spooked me a couple of times when I've absorbed too much like monoatomic copper, like zinc, and then like gone down into like a yoga sort of pose to ground, and then like just get like overcome with like this energy feeling, and then like literally the next metal thing I touch, it's like the biggest static shock I've ever like shot out of my fingers before.
Well, that's what happened with my structured water.
It's happened a few
because
times.
like when I do start drinking large portions of my structured water, it's charged, and I'll go up to a tap to wash my hands. I get zapped.
Yeah,
and I'm going.
And that's
going,
another thing. Is like
where's
it makes it harder
electricity
to
come from?
ground. Yeah, when it's cold, it's harder to ground too. It's like I can't do it in the winter. Like it's 40 degrees outside, and that's warm to y'all probably, but I can't go take my shoes off and earth right now. That'd be freezing cold. I'd almost probably get pneumonia. You know, but in the spring and summer, as much as I can do it, I try to do it. So what are you showing us now here, bud?
Shameless self-promotion. Last night I showed up at the end of the Truth Quest show with Aaron. There, it was pretty good. I did about 45 minutes explaining monoatomics and alchemy and plasma astute electrolysis in this one. So I just posted the link, and it is also in the video description already.
Nice.
Very good channel.
I posted it in the Speakeasy Saloon that, you know, live on Didactic and Crypto Alchemist.
I thank you, Bane, sir. Yeah, I don't want to be going too long because I'm still waiting to hear back from Cambell. Hopefully everything's okay with his move into his new place. I'm guessing he just needs a little bit of time settling.
He's returning the trolley. Yeah. He rented a large box truck. He's on his way to get it back. He wants his deposit.
Yeah, we had one guy in the building here. He hired some movers to move him. And then the movers didn't show up. And I said, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. So I moved his stuff. Took me like a half hour. Paid me $60. And you know, the guy's 80 years old, right?
That's $2 a minute.
Yeah.
Dang. That's good money right there. Wait.
No.
Was that with or without nipple tassels? I mean, what exactly did you wear? What did you have to wear for that $2 a minute? How did you get $2 a minute? Sir, you tell me now how you got $2 a minute.
I had to wear a tutu.
Oh, okay. Hey, as long as you got the warm leggings with it. He let you keep the leggings on, then maybe it's a gamble. You got to have the boots for tread, though. You can't have the heels. Pumps, maybe.
The heels are not good for moving. So yeah, everybody who's interested in this stuff, I would start looking at Earth. Start with Earth and how Earth holds a charge, and because the chemistry of the planet is what really is the wheelwork of the world, and learning that we actually live in a capacitor. You know,
and our good friend John Hutchinson states it's about telluric lines, and energies, as does Eric.
They run all through the earth. Yep.
And what I have playing right now, oh my God, Flash. Okay, yeah, it was on the Tesla Tech channel recently. It is Iron D Max, and he is replicating, putting in certain harmonic frequencies into an electrolysis cold fusion reaction, creating the brown gas and liquefaction, or the ionization of the hydrogen or the water. So it's the actual mist ionized replication. Yeah, there it is.
But see, that's the thing. That's another thing you never really catch on to. Pay attention to that right there where it says Project Icarus. Icarus was Greek mythology we were taught as children in grade school about how he flew too close to the sun. Yet none of us ever had the question enter our mind, what if the sun is literally closer than they told us and it's within reach inside the firmament, the sun and the moon, one to rule the day, one to rule the night. It's written about in the Bible. Look at the triangulation.
Are they portals? Yeah, like the ancient Egyptian Sumerian gods, Ra.
Look at the trajectory, the triangle that it makes when sunbeams come through the clouds. That's a local sun. But what if check this out? This is what'll really boil your noodle. What if griffins were real? What if there was a griffin that had a warrior on it that flew literally too close to the sun and it turned into a Greek mythology story? I don't know if griffins ever existed. It's hard to imagine. They're written about in the Bible in the end times. Were they there in the beginning? Who knows? Tell me that's not fascinating to think of a lion with wings, with a warrior with a spear and a sword on it, flying towards the sun. Imagination. It's kind of what makes you think, because all of our history is so grabbled. Greek mythology, you don't know what's true, what's not true. Greek, Colosseum, battles, gladiators. I wasn't there. Yeah. I fed nobody to lions. I wasn't there. So it's like, it's fun to think about that. What if the sun is local? What if griffins were real? And what if the story of Icarus is based on a real warrior that flew too close to the sun? I don't believe that, like the whole Pegasus thing. I don't know if Pegasuses were real, but what if?
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing like mermaids. They keep saying that mermaids exist and they're washing it up on some shores and they're finding their bodies. So
but that's also it's one of those things you can go real deep, real far with that, like for real. Like here's the thing. It's more than coincidence that one of our oceans is called the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis was a real place. Do we know a lot about it? I don't know.
I couldn't agree more with you. That is esoteric fact and knowledge of all human soul kinds.
Atlantis was real. Yeah. But the Icarus thing, you have to think plausibly, like, what if it were to be physically real? It would have to be on something big enough that he could ride on to fly, and that our sun is local. I don't know. It's one of those things. But you never thought of it as a kid. It was just one of those things. He flew too close to the sun. You're like, well, how do fucking wings work in space? But you never really thought about that. Then you never really thought that space could be water, or we've never been there and it's all a hoax, etc., etc.
Or it's just different, like plasma or ether dimensions, right? This right now is fascinating. This is Bruce Diesel. He's a Quebec, Montreal backyard astronomer.
I'm a backyard astronomer, yeah.
And I want to replicate some of these, and lots of them he takes of the moon during the day, and he captures all sorts of ships flying around and shooting around and stuff. And I posted the link here in the live chat. It's also in the description.
Yeah, I just got a notification on the top of the phone that Crypto Alchemist is going live in 30 minutes with an energy and ether thing.
Oh, that's a little 5 minutes Cambell pre-edited video. Where is Cambell? Cambell, I hope you are okay. I pray for Cambell. Cambell, come back to us. I'm going through Cambell withdrawal, man.
Hey, well, listen, speaking of the backyard astronomer, I'm an amateur's amateur when it comes to that. Like last night I made a 10-minute video of me just shooting, because we had just had a little sliver of the moon, just a little tiny underneath underneath sliver of the moon. And I rolled a video, just zoomed out on a shitty phone for just 10 minutes, just talking about, just putting a good message out there. So, I mean, if you didn't see the video I did last night, next time you're taking a huge deuce, check out the 10-minute video I posted last night about the moon. It was just the moon's fascinating.
Bear scat Bane Bear every time. He's like, check out my video when you're taking.
Well, you're taking a deuce.
Do you know why? Do you know why? It's because psychologically it sets up a mental trigger. So while you're taking a poop, you're like, I gotta check my email, I gotta check my Facebook, and then you're like, oh, Bane Bear made a joke about next time you take a poop, check this thing. And see, now that I've mentioned it's a psychological trigger, I've set up a second trigger to my psychological trigger. So now next time you're pooping, you're gonna be like, I've got to text this. Oh, I gotta check Bane Bear shit. It's a cruel trick to promote my stuff sometimes, but at the same time, I'm not doing it for fame or money. It's just I want to spread some smiles.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like some people. I saw a live stream the other day that was starting, and I was one of the first commenters, and I just put my usual "What up, legends?" That's what I always intro with. Just "What up, legends?" You know, and
Yes, you do, brother.
Yeah, and the very next commenter was like, is there anything to be happy about in this dreary world of blah 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 blah?
How about we're online now? It's
and I was like,
beautiful.
and I was like, yeah, I was like, how about putting something positive into the world to make it a better place? That's how you make the world not a shitty place. You do something. You get off your butt and do something.
Excuse me momentarily while I go get a glass of refreshment.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
I got a good one. Listen to this one. Next time I do my YouTube video, I'm going to say, okay, before I stop this video, make sure you're on the cam because you're going to poop yourself when I'm going to show you.
It's going to be so good, I'll crap your pants.
I wanted to have you prepared.
Oh, dude, listen, while BurnEye's out getting refreshment, let me tell you about the trucker story from yesterday. Can I put this in your ear for a minute? Okay. Oh, shoot. Drop my 1 second. 1 second. I'll tell you the story. Yep. Just 1 second.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people are in the chat here right now. Let's see if I got any.
How many people are in chat? I'm not looking at it right now.
Taking a look now. It's either everybody's asleep or whatever.
It's like they're on different time zones or something.
Yeah, well, the people are all over the place.
Well, in England, they're 5 hours ahead of us, so they're like it's 2 PM to them.
Yeah,
and then you know,
Australia is 12 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, and then Hawaii's 6 hours behind us. So I mean, it's 3 AM to them.
Are you on Eastern Standard Time? What time zone are you in?
I am in Eastern Standard Time, yes, sir.
Yeah, so same as me. It's 20 after 9 in the morning.
Oh, there's 41 people here.
Oh, there we go.
I'm typing, I don't know my other account, but I'm typing "What up, legends" in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, so yesterday on Fridays, I always eat at this one little taco shack, right? And this little taco shack is literally right beside a gas station, and it's a double axle trailer with tarps and a tent thing set up. It's but some of the best food you've ever had in your entire life, right?
Yeah.
And and there's 5 on Crypto Alchemist too. So anyways, some of the best food you've ever had in your life. Good quesadillas, tacos, burritos, all that stuff. Anyways, on Fridays, Fridays are payday. I always treat myself. Yes, it's a $9 burrito, but it's the size of like literally, it's like the size of my forearm. Like it's like it's literally. I have carpenter forearms. I don't know if you noticed that, but
yeah,
it's a burrito the size of my like huge. Like I mean,
the same way. Machinist arms.
Exactly. Yeah. So this burrito, he always slices at the very end after he rolls it up. He slices it in half because you have to eat it in halves. It's huge, right?
Yeah.
So every Friday, I go to this same little taco shack. Yeah, keep that in mind, there, government agencies. You ever want to drone me? I'm at the same place every Friday at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm at this little taco shack.
Yeah.
I order my steak burrito. He always has like thin slices of avocado in there, a couple jalapenos for flavor, but nothing spicy or anything. But good beef and cheese and onions. Just it's a real good burrito. I can never ever eat the entire thing. It's huge. It's a pound of food. It's a pound of food plus. It's
Supersized.
You hold the bag. If you hold the bag with an extended arm after 10 seconds, you can feel the weight. Like it's a huge burrito. So while I'm at this gas station, there's a beer truck there, and the beer trucks are like miniature semi trucks. And the guy is running in tall hand trucks of beer. I mean, 5-foot stacks of beer. He is running them in around people. He's going around cars. He's getting up to the handicap ramp. People are cutting him off. They're not holding the door open for him. I feel bad for the guy. He's got sweat dripping off his nose, And whenever I open the burrito, I always take the second half and wrap it up right away because I know I'm going to either save it for supper or give it away or something.
Yeah.
And if it makes it to supper and I don't give it away, it ends up just getting thrown away, and I almost never reheat it. So it's $4.50 just being wasted. And I also tip them. $1. So this $9 burrito is really $10. So it's really $5 a half for a burrito. So I have this second half of the burrito wrapped up, and I'm eating this first half, watching this beer man just make runs of beer from the truck. He's just dripping sweat off his nose. You can tell he's frustrated. He's having a hard Friday. I feel bad for him, right? White guy with a beard, kind of looked like Robin Williams, like a younger Robin Williams.
Okay.
But running back and forth from this beer truck, and I thought, I don't want to waste this half a burrito. I'm gonna give him this half a burrito. Give him a free lunch, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because normally I work in a bad part of town. Sometimes there's a lot of homeless people. You can give away half a burrito in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Someone's like, I'm hungry. You got any change? I'd be like, I got half a burrito. It was made 20 minutes ago. They're like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So anyways, this trucker's running back and forth. And finally, when I finish eating my burrito, I grab that second half and a bottle of water because, he's sweating his balls off. And I catch up to him and I said, hey, man, how many more hand truck loads do you have to do inside? He goes, oh, just 2 more and then I'm done. I said, well, would you eat lunch if I gave it to you? Do you want half a burrito? Because I get it from you ever eaten at this taco shack? And I explained it to him. And I said, I can never eat the second half. I always wrap it up immediately. It was cut with a knife. I didn't touch it with my hands at all. And I explained to him what's in it and all that. He's like, oh, cool. I said, do you have water? And he's like, no, I don't have any water. So I gave him a bottle of water. He's dripping sweat, fist bump. I was like, all right, man, have a good day. Never got his name or anything. I get back to the job site. There's a couple guys there. And Dylan, one of the guys that works for me, I was like, you notice I don't have that half a burrito on my dash. He's like, yeah, what happened? So I'm telling the story, right? And so the story, the whole thing ended up being that, I was able to share my lunch with somebody that I feel truly deserved it. It's like, screw you, Canada. I support American truckers. and Dylan's like, that's not really a semi truck. I was like, hey, you wait a minute. He had to have a CDL to drive it. It counts. I just thought that was a funny story. It was definitely one of those funnier you had to be there moments. But obviously, and I used the F-bomb expletive, which of course made it way funnier.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be just like dropping that here. So screw Canada seemed like a way funnier. No offense to Canada. But the governmental side.
Fuck Canada. In the South Park quote and song from back in the day. Just kidding.
All governments are questionable.
Apparently, when Kelly is present, then the F-bombs are, but there are no down underins.
Okay, just because we have Trudeau as the Prime Minister.
Campbell? I'm going through Cambell withdrawal.
Campbell withdrawal? Hey, he needs some soup. Get you some Campbell's. Oh, there we go again.
We need some Campbell soup. Oh, there we go.
I'm eating cucumbers because I'm going through Cambell withdrawal. I don't know.
Cucumber Campbell.
It's delicious, actually.
Campbell's probably listening to this right now. Those bastards.
It's Campbell's cucumber cannabis with crypto Alchemist and Mike from Faraday Research, allegedly. So there I was, old Lispy. making Bernie spit off a mouth full of cucumbers. Just laughing because I was unbridled hilarity. Bears. Being stupid for no reason.
That's okay. It's the morning. I gotta go top up my coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. How dare you? Don't worry, I'll sip loudly while you're gone.
So it just lets you know that the type of power is a little
Sorry,
different.
I wanted to bring
So if
back
I go ahead
the
and I
Daniel
touch across
Nunez
this, you'll
Vortex
see
channel
it's
here.
not hurting me.
And it
However,
very
if I were to put a
crazy
capacitor
good developments with
just
their
straight
Peace on
across this
Earth
output here,
PoE Vortex coil.
so something like that,
And
just straight
I
across
wanted
the
Mike's
output,
opinion
that
on
color
the
will
circuitry
turn
system,
to
but he seems to have
orange.
run off. Where
And
is
you
Campbell?
wouldn't
Campbell,
want
I
to
hope
touch
you're
it
okay.
when it's that color. So something about this radiant type of power
But
also
yeah, it
changes
is
the color of
7:30
the meat.
a.m. in the
Gives it
morning where
more
I
of a
am. I need to
pink,
go to bed soon.
purplish.
I don't know where Campbell is.
It's like a combination of
I'm
colors there.
thinking I'm gonna go to bed soon. So I love you all. I'm gonna be ending the stream pretty
Hey,
quick.
thanks for joining.
There is a whole bunch of links in the description.
Trying to do something here,
Days upon days
that could
of
possibly
fascinating people's research,
help the
including Mike's.
planet in a way that
And
would
I
be
gotta get
wonderful.
Beans in there
A
because
lot
you guys
going
are
on
doing
in the
some good
world.
stuff.
So
This is
trying
Daniel
to share
Nunez
something
channel.
positive.
Thank you.
We're still working. At the very least, letting you all know that we're still here working, still trying our best to loop the circuit, so to speak. Oh.
Well, Bernie, this is
over, just a little under 9 minutes, and we're not even seeing a blink on that voltage. Once again, this is running on 12 volts. This is a 12-volt run battery driving the PoE Vortex Coil 432. It's in a
this is the bit, isn't it?
Jewel
It's-
Thief
that
modified
confuses me. It's
Bedini
like,
circuit
do we
type
choose to come here to
configuration
get
there.
this sorted out, or is this just seems a little unfair, doesn't it? That you know, we seem to be here and there's this parasite messing up our experience.
And, I know in my own life, the times that I've made major changes, it was like it became more painful not to change than to change. That was when I made big changes.
It's this whole ridiculous narrative of it's an unsafe world. There's not enough for you. It's scary. Everyone's out to get you. And clearly the old civilization was completely the opposite to that. It was all about empowerment, like literally.
Cosmic resonance, I think they called that one, or
Cosmic
something
resonance, that's a better
Yep.
name.
Real science, you can actually produce free electricity, and this is part of what Tesla was doing, is the differential between the top of the spire to the ground actually creates an electrical differential that you then connect to another wire that goes into the ground, your grounding. Put that into the third phase in your circuit, and then you have a bell ringing circuit, and that actually produces plasma electricity out of the air. It's real technology. These things actually function producing electricity. It's crazy.
The movies are the truth and the news is the lies. They've completely flipped it.
When you look at everything with new eyes and you come across information like she was born into a very wealthy family with elite connections, it means something very different now to me than it would have even a few years ago. And it's our free will that they've really also messed with, because we've been lied to and we react based on lies. Just getting their independence and end up in civil wars for 20, 30 years happens a lot.
Because we keep choosing to pick up the gun and use it on ourselves instead of building and uniting and accepting that we are one people, one spirit, one harmony on one plane that together, united, can achieve anything we dream of.
So do you want to, wake up, or do you want to just keep going along because the change is too difficult.
and then give them pieces of information that they will then pursue themselves and look into, and then they'll wake themselves up.
I was going to mention it's the whole red pill, blue pill of the Matrix. I mean, that of the movie. And you can consider that movie as a documentary because they're telling us something about what's happening here. So do you want to, wake up, or do you want to just keep going along because
This is the bit, isn't it? That confuses me. It's like, did we choose to come here to get this sorted out, or is this